What's good, guys? Welcome back. Today I have my friend Bruna with me. She is one of the smartest people I know. Therefore, I figure she should be able to help us today. Today, I got questions for you because this is Ask a Girl. You're a girl. I'm asking you things that I want to know personally, and I feel like other men want to know. Shit I just don't understand. Okay. Now, the goal for these videos is not to debate, even though we're going to. But the goal is to teach.
Okay.
To give some insight. Both sides. Let us know what's going on. So you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. My question for today is chivalry... I always say that word weird. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Chivalry. Is chivalry necessary?
Is it necessary for what?
For you as a woman, is it necessary for your man or any men in your area to be chivalrous?
Oh. I don't know that it's necessary. But it's definitely appreciated. And I find myself, more so recently than before, kind of not calling guys out, but making a note if they're not.
Yeah.
So, but for me, it's a little weird because I, for a long time, wouldn't even give guys the opportunity to be chivalrous.
Okay.
So I was that girl that was very like, I got the door. I got this, I got that, it's fine. And so that was a little difficult for a guy to even show that side. And so now I'm kind of leaving it open, and I appreciate when men will open my door or do nice chivalrous things. But if they don't, I'm not. Actually, that's a lie. I do judge them a little bit.
Exactly.
I do.
Yeah, so you say it's appreciated. Now, we're not just talking about you. I want you to try to get into the mind of women as a whole. I know every woman's different. We're generalizing here. But you say appreciated. I don't think it's appreciated. From a man point of view who does it, I don't think it's actually appreciated.
You think it's expected?
Yeah, I think it's expected.
Yeah.
I think it's only acknowledged when it's not happening. But when it is happening, it's like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
That's a great question. That's hard for me to answer from a general sense because naturally I don't come from that place. But I don't know. I guess it would be because women are always, not always, but usually taught or come up with the idea that this is what a man does. This is the role of a man. This is how he shows that he cares. This is what a gentleman looks like. And so if you're not doing that, then we fall into this assumption, whether it's subconscious or not, that, oh, well, you're not really a man because you're not doing all this stuff.
Ridiculous.
Right. But, yeah, it's tough for me because I'm the opposite. I notice it more when it happens than when it doesn't because I come from a different mindset. So when I do see it, I'm like, oh, shit, that felt nice, you know? Like, it feels nice to feel like a woman, whatever that fucking means, but it's just like to be taken care of in that sense, or to have a man, regardless of what the relationship is. It can be a total stranger. Just take a moment to be like, oh, I got you, or I can do this. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's nice. I don't have to do everything on my own.
So, like, but what's the problem with doing certain things on your own? I help people. If I see
you're a very chivalrous
happen,
person.
Yeah, and now part of that is societal pressure. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's one time with you specifically, you needed to get a computer from a guy who lives in this area, right?
Yes, I was thinking about this story too.
So you asked me to go just in case he was a crazy fucker or whatever. I went with you to help. Then you needed gas, and I pumped your gas. The only reason I did that is because other people will probably be looking like, this motherfucker just sitting in the car while she pumping her gas, because they don't understand our situation. That's the only reason I did that, to be completely honest.
That's crazy. That's the first story that I thought of when chivalry came up with you, because, and even just in general, because that's The second time ever in my entire life that a guy has pumped my gas for me.
That's interesting.
And so I noticed that right away. I mean, yes, it was also you just going with me. But that's something I ask my guy friends all the time. If I'm buying stuff from random ass people, I'm like, hey, this could be a Law and Order episode. Like, will you come with me? But the gas thing, I was like, look at Ricky. Like, I would have never, and maybe that's because I'm a woman, I would have never thought, like, oh, people might think less of him if he's not.
They definitely do. But in other situations, say it was like at night and the area wasn't safe, I would have done it more of so like
safety.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not just because I felt obligated. But it is an obligation. We have so many little stupid obligations when it comes to this. And I just don't understand why. So this whole subject came up because I saw another girl who you know her too. She posted on her story that if you're a man and you don't let every woman get off the elevator before you're trash. I think she said trash. Maybe she said something else. But basically, she was griping about a man getting off the elevator before her. And that annoyed the shit out of me because, like, so many questions came to my head. One, how does he know everybody's getting off on the same floor? I asked her that. She's like, I mean, well, maybe it's like the lobby where you know everybody's getting off. I'm like, okay, well, what position was he? Did he get on the elevator last? Is he in the front at the door?
Valid question.
How is he gonna stand sideways so you guys can come through? What is that? What if he's in a rush? What makes your time more important than his? Period. Just because you're female? I don't get it. Now, if he's behind you and he fucking cuts you off to get in there, that's a problem. If anybody does it.
Right, that's just rude.
Yeah. But what makes him wrong for not letting you go first as a woman?
Did you ask her this?
Yeah. She didn't have an answer.
Oh, okay.
She basically kind of said what you said. I don't really have an answer for that. Like, I don't know, it's just, that's how my dad taught my brothers. Blah, blah, blah.
I was going to bring up dad stuff too, but that's like deep. I'm trying not to make this into a therapy session.
I mean, but I get all of that. I understand that we were all taught certain things. But as you get older, you become an adult, as times change, there's certain things that we just aren't allowed to change with the times, and that's weird to me. Like, first of all, chivalry was the way of the knight.
Right.
That's what that shit was about. I'm pretty sure there was like welders and cobblers back then who didn't have to adhere to what chivalry really was. It was like being brave and courteous and all this stuff. But it also, the definition doesn't specify men doing this for women. It does go on to talk about when you're courting a woman, and that's fine. But if I'm just walking into Chipotle and some random lady behind me, I'm not courting her. Why do I have to hold the door for her? I do, by the way. But why do I have to? Why am I looked at as less than a man if I don't? Why is it such a big deal?
In that case, you're not courting that woman and you do that. I don't feel like at the root you're doing it to be chivalrous. I think you're just doing it because you're a nice person.
Yeah.
So it's very much like, I do feel making it specific to men is the root of the problem, only because then, oh, he's not a gentleman, he's not chivalrous, he's not that. Okay, cool, but is he a nice person?
Yeah.
At the end of the day? And so that's where even I get kind of, not defensive, but I question guys who say, you know, chivalry is not dead, I just do it for women who are worth it, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, well, if you're only doing it in that case because you feel like this woman's worth it, this woman's not, or you're picking and choosing when you are putting on this hat, are you chivalrous?
That's a good question. I think what they mean is, if I have nothing to do with this woman, I'm not going to go out of my way for it. It's not a, it's not exactly a worth thing. It's not like, oh, I don't like her dress. I'm not gonna hold this door. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know her. I'm not going to pick up her heavy luggage. Like, she might think I'm weird if I do that shit. But if it's my friend who I care about, I'm gonna help her with her luggage. Right. I think that's where it comes into play, and they just word it wrong. But I mean, maybe they really mean worth. Who knows?
I understand that. So the specific example that came to mind with that is a guy friend of mine who, and like I mentioned, I had to become very conscious of moments when I'm with men and I kind of go first into doing things that maybe they are trying, like pulling out my chair, opening doors, whatever. Yeah. So we were going somewhere and he was driving and I kind of just waited by the car door. Until I realized he's definitely not going to open the door, so I just got in, whatever. And I was just like, I said, oh, it's nice to open the door for the lady. And then he was just like, oh. He's like, well, I do that on dates. And I was just like, okay. But then that's what sparked the idea of, does it mean less, or is it anything different if it's an act that you do inconsistently or you pick and choose when you do it? Like, is this a character trait of yours where you're just like this? And I know it depends on what it is you're doing. Like, carrying luggage or going out of your way in a big way is different than holding the door for someone or opening the door.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference is, and the reason why there's a difference is because that's how people are when they're dating or courting. Like, you want to show this person different than what you're showing everybody else.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do reserve certain things for these situations. Like, you don't want to pay every time you go have lunch with your female friend who's just a friend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's when you're going on dates. So, I mean, it makes sense. But at the core of all of this shit, you can open a door.
Absolutely.
You can open the door, you can pull your chair out. You can do it when nobody's around. I don't understand why it's even a thing. Like, I honestly don't understand it. I get that it's nice, but it's not nice to not do it.
Yeah. I think it's just old school, like, mentality drilled into our upbringing and kind of the statement of what is considered chivalry and gentleman. And as a woman, we're usually told, like, you know, you should wait for the man who does this, or you should wait for the man who does that, and this is how he shows his love, and this is a good man, and, you know, all this stuff, which when you're younger and you grow up with that idea and then you start, you know, dating and getting into these relationships, whether you realize it or not, you start judging and basing men off of these concepts that you were taught early on before you could really rationalize and make your own conclusions. I think the best thing to do is kind of go into any interaction, in this case with other men as a woman, and not necessarily expect it. Like, I need to find that sweet spot, you know, like, maybe give them the opportunity, but if they don't do it, like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to be like, well, he's out. Like, that's not going to work. But at the same time, I think it's also clear that sometimes guys don't eat, like, it's just, like, they don't even realize that that's a thing.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. It's nice.
It's nice.
What is the flip side?
What do you mean?
From a woman who expects chivalry, what is the return on that? What is there for men to expect? And not boyfriends, men in general. Is there any obligations women feel to things they have to do simply because there's a man right there?
You threw me when you said not a boyfriend.
Not a boyfriend, yeah. Because like I said, if I walk through a door and there's a lady on the other side or behind me, I'm expected to hold the door for her. I don't know this lady. It's just a random ass lady. If I'm at the airport and the lady's trying to put her bag in the overhead and she looks like she's struggling and I'm right there, I'm expected to help her. If I'm on a bus and I'm seated and she gets in and there's no other seats, I'm expected to get up and give her my seat. What is there a that for women?
The first thing that came to mind, and I'm not just saying this because Drake came out with this song, but is like being nice in a way that's like, I have to be bubbly, I have to smile, I have to be just like this very kind of muted but welcoming presence to any and all men. Which sounds weird because it's like, well, why wouldn't you just be that way? But it's one of those situations where I have gotten stopped by men in random places, out at a bar, wherever, who are like, can you smile? Smile. And I'm just like, but why?
That's not the same. I get what you're saying.
It is, because...
No, because, like... Oh, finish. I'll let you finish.
If you're talking about, like, physical...
No, not physical, just genuine obligations.
Obligations.
Because, like, yeah, you're going to have the fucking lame dude to say, oh, why are you looking like that? Smile. You look too angry. You too pretty to be that mean. All that bullshit. But that's just...
I hate that shit.
That's just those dudes. It's not the world at large. Okay. It's not... Other women aren't going to be like, oh, why isn't she smiling? There's men in here. The way other men would be like, why didn't he give her his seat?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not an obligation. You just have weird dudes that will try to hit on you with weird ways. So is there anything that's an obligation like that?
Nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, so fuck y'all.
No, wait. Now, not specific to you, because I know you're just different than most men. But
yeah, you're talking in general.
Yeah, in general, do you think that men have an obligation placed on women?
No. I can't think of anything that I feel girls are supposed to do because I'm a man.
Outside of the house.
Outside of the house, even in a relationship. But again, that's me being different.
Yeah.
So we cannot talk about that. But yeah, like there's never a situation where I'm walking up to anything and I see women and I feel like this is gonna happen or this should happen. That just doesn't exist for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, at large, I can't think of any. Everything that I can think of is very much based either in a relationship or in the home.
Yeah. You know what my biggest problem with the whole chivalry thing is, though? Mm-hmm. I feel like either way you slice it, there's no equality there. Mm-hmm. Somebody's superior, somebody's inferior. It's either men looking at women like they can't do things for themselves, so I have to do it, or women looking at men like, you better do this for me. It never feels like everybody's just equal.
Winning.
And
yeah.
That bothers me because I see us all as equal. I just think it's not thought about enough.
Yeah.
It's a convenience thing. This makes my life a little bit easier, so I want to keep that at all costs. I'm going to tell you, you're not a man if you don't do that because I like when you do that. And I think that's just stupid.
Well, the judgment part, yeah, I don't agree with that. I think the other side of it is mainly... Like, as a woman who's very independent and usually does do shit on her own because I don't expect or think that anyone would care to do these things for me, I learned that the reason I appreciate it is not so much like, oh, he's a gentleman, he's chivalrous. It's, to me, you're saying, I know you can do this, but I'm showing you that you don't have to. Like, let me just carry a little bit of the load. And that's appreciated because for a lot of strong, independent, whatever word you want to put there, women, we feel like we almost get looked over in that area because people are like, well, she's fine. She can do it herself. And it's so, when someone comes in, it's like, I'm not saying you're not fine, but you don't have to carry all this weight on your own. It's just like, oh, yes, thank you.
I mean, I get that because that doesn't just happen to women. Like, if you take me, for example, I'm always giving advice. People come to me for advice. They ask me for
advice. You do
advice.
have great advice.
Thank you. But because of that, I don't get to ask advice. I get, if I have what do you think? I get bullshit and you'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
I get that too, yeah.
It happens to everybody when you have a certain skill set, when you can do it. So, I still say fuck y'all.
You can ask me for advice.
Oh no, I hate your advice.
Bye. Bye.
I'm joking. Follow Bruna at what's the
On socials at Prob with Dating.
There,
or you can check out the website, theproblemwithdating.com, where you can get hats like this and other merch.
Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Bye.
Peace.
Got nuts in my mouth.
All right.
Yes, finally.